Hello everyone, welcome back on Gayatri's English Hub, and I'm really happy you have come again here. Today, again, as you all know that I have been experimenting on my channel and I have been inviting amazing people to share their life journey or interests or maybe language tips and tricks. Yeah, if they can. Today we have an amazing girl. She is from India, but when she starts talking, you'll get to know that why I have invited her here. It'll surprise you. So just be ready for the surprise and let's get into the video. So, hey Rita, how are you doing today?
I am great. That was a lovely introduction. Thank you for being so professional.
Thank you so much. How are you doing?
Obviously, I'm very happy to be here, and I was very happy that you invited me. This is one of the first times that I'm doing a conversation video with somebody on YouTube. You, Gayatri, are definitely one of the good teachers around, and hopefully, this is the first of many.
Yeah, for sure. And every single time I watch your videos and now I'm talking to you, it is surprising me more and more that and see, we come from the part of India where this language is not that common. And top of it, that
Mm,
accent which you have is something which is again, surprising me every single
mm,
time. So Richa, we'll get
thank
into
you.
this more that how did you start your journey? You also I got to know about your videos that you are the trainer for 3 years almost. So how did it all
Yes,
start and how did
three
you get in?
years. Uh-huh. I would like to start with a brief introduction, if that's okay with you.
Yeah,
I'd want your
100%.
viewers to know about me. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they know my YouTube yet. So I am Richa from Richa English. I am a TESOL TEFL certified English teacher, accent and public speaking coach. I've been helping people with public speaking skills since my sophomore year, which was an year and a half back. And I've been teaching English more than 3 years at this point. And what was your question again?
Great. Yeah, so we'll
How
start.
I started speaking with an accent.
Yeah. How did it all
Oh, sure.
start?
So you want to get
Even
into
being a
directly.
trainer.
Sure, sure. Uh-huh. So basically, like, short answer, if there is a market for teaching English, I'm gonna corner my share. This is my short answer. Long answer, the joy of making somebody confident in their own abilities to make them feel that they can make their own mark in the field of work. You know what I'm saying? That is matchless. So that definitely is the reason why I'm still doing it. Another factor into it is that it helps me make my own money. I don't want to be dependent on my parents for long enough. And going back to my story where I started speaking with an American accent, I've repeated it so many times on my channel. My regulars are going to be bored of it, but I'll go over it one more time. When I was 10 or 11 years old, maybe 12, my cousins were studying in the United States at that time. And from them, I happened to make friends with some Americans. So in my early days, I had this weird life opportunity to be speaking with a lot of Americans. You know what I'm saying? And I let their accent kind of sink in. So I haven't really learned this accent. I've acquired it by listening continuously, almost night and day. We talk for 5, 6 hours on end most days. So that's there. But then I've always been very conscious about my speaking. I've tried to work on it every single day. And even today, when I look back, there isn't a single day where I haven't worked on my English, haven't learned new vocabulary, or haven't polished my accent, or haven't spoken in English. So that's definitely there. Like in a composite form, I'd say, of course, I had this chance of speaking to native speakers pretty early on in my life, but that's not the only thing that has helped me. That is one of the pillars. The other things are listening, definitely, and working on yourself, working on the parts that you think are not going so well. So like having an introspection and having a report card for yourself.
Great. That is an amazing answer. And I'll say that you were or you are lucky enough to get or got those opportunities which you really got.
Yeah.
Having a lot of friends with your cousin and your American friends that somehow added charm in your learning because we Indians don't get it and we keep cribbing about all the time, keep saying, ma'am, I don't have environment, there
Mm,
is no one who can talk to me and
mm,
whatnot. That's really great. How do you see teaching as a profession? That is something which is going to be the topic of the
mm.
conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking this question. I said this is an excellent question, which I've already answered. Short answer. There is a market for teaching. I'm gonna corner my share. A long answer, obviously, I love helping people and it helps me make some of my own money. But if you want to talk about the personality aspect, it's been adding to my personality bit by bit every single day. I've taught students from more than 15 countries at this point. You know what I'm saying? The things that are happening in the world, for example, the Ukraine-Russia war, it kind of feels like I'm in on the latest news because I have a lot of Ukrainian students right now. I'm helping a group of students to get into American universities, and some of them are married and like they have a life different from the student life. So it's like really helped me get to know about the world, firsthand information, you know what I'm saying? Language, the stereotypes, the culture, the food. And that is one of the reasons that I've spent so much of my earnings on pizza, because I've had a few Italian students. And I think the pizza company should send me a thank you note because I spend most of my money on them.
That's really great. Um, Quite surprising to know that, right? And it happens with when you are the one who is connected to people from different parts of India or maybe across the country, around the globe. It definitely gives you first-hand information that what is happening there and what are they doing, how's their lifestyle and
Exactly.
whatnot, right? Great. Being a trainer or a teacher, people come to you with a lot of expectations, and sometimes they are very unrealistic. To be honest, that's what I feel with my learners. They come up
Mm,
with the fact that I want to be fluent in just few months or just few days or maybe 45 days or 90 days and something like that. You are in the industry for 3 years and you understand all the nuances of the language and all the in and
I
outs of the
do.
language, right? Do you think is it possible to achieve something like that in 3 months or maybe 45 days? What's your take on this?
Depends on what the goal is. If a student comes in with a goal that they want to do well in an exam, language proficiency exam like the IELTS, I think that is kind of possible, but it also depends on the level that you're starting with. If you're already on a B2 level, there isn't much work to do, but obviously they have different type of challenges. Students on each level face like a wide variety of challenges that are different from the other levels, so that's there. But if you think you can learn the American accent in 45 days or I don't know, 46 days, not gonna happen.
That's very crazy to be honest. Otherwise, people come to me and they say that, oh, I just
Have you
want
got
to.
students like that? You've had
Many
students
a
like
times,
that.
every single day I get like that. And they come to me and they
Okay.
say that I want to be like a native speaker, an American or a Britisher, and then I
Mm-hmm.
want to achieve it in just 45 days or maybe 3 months. And I'm the one who
Uh-huh.
says to them that, can you just look at me? I have been working on the language for the last 5 years and I have not been able to make it. So how can I let you or
Mm-hmm.
how can I make you do the same thing, right? I accept what I
Mm-hmm.
have not been able to make it because I am quite interested in British one, which is really hard.
You
And like,
told me about it.
yeah,
You
that's
told me.
some yeah that drives me crazy most of the time when people come to me like this. Anyway, let's go further, right?
Mm. Yeah, let's move on the
What
conversation.
what do you think? You have been working with people for almost 15 countries with different parts of the world. You
Yes.
have been working.
Yes.
How does it make you feel being in
It
India,
makes me
working
feel
with the
great,
people?
I'd say. 100%. It makes me feel great. That's the answer that I have. But you know what? I think personality is what makes you different from other people. And that is why my personality is kind of different from other people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it does make me unique. It does make me feel like I'm going international, even though that's not happening. I'm teaching people from the comfort of my home, this untidy workstation that I have in my home, but it does make you feel like you know people and your knowledge bank is not just limited to the territory of India. So like that, it is amazing. And like I said, I really like to talk about food with my students. I really want to know what kind of Ukrainian foods are famous in Ukraine, Peruvian food. There is a food dish called ceviche in Peru. And I've been trying to make it. Of course, I've been failing terribly, but maybe I'll succeed in some time. So it's a great experience. And you get a lot of attention for speaking like this, for knowing the stuff that's going around the world. And attention creates value, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I just love. So I used to be the person who would be
Mm,
very much into a box, like because I was very much comfortable with the knowledge which
mm,
I had, and I was pretty okay with that. I was like, okay, I'm really good at technical grammar part of the language, and you just come to me, learn that from me. But then I came across students from different interests and different walks of life. So someone is an engineer or an actor or a politician, maybe an economist or a CA, accountant, and whatnot. I have worked with all these professions so far in India. And that somehow made me understand that no, I have to expand my own horizon to talk to these people. Otherwise, I will not be able to retain or
mm.
sustain them as my students, right? So that
I
somehow
get it. It's
had
challenging.
had me going with accumulating knowledge from the different parts of the world and different walks of domain, that I can keep it and I can have it, and that
Mm,
gives me attention when I talk to people on politics and then economic things. I am someone who comes from humanities background, arts and bachelor of arts and all, and when I talk about like finances, they get surprised. So, like, how do you even know that? Like, when I talk about law, they get surprised. How do you know this? It's just like all about accumulation and interest, and you love talking to people. Amazing. But then there is
for
a
sure.
drawback in India, that we
Mm,
come from very
mm,
conventional and traditional mentality, right? And when you talk to
mm,
people in the accent which you are accustomed to, that is not something you pretend
mm.
anymore, because you have been in this for over a decade now, if I'm not wrong, almost over a
Oh, you're
decade.
so right. I was
Yeah,
gonna put that out there. Good at math. You calculated it
great.
over a
So
decade.
how does it it must be intimidating for other people,
Hmm.
right? But how do you deal some
Hmm.
situations when you get in?
Again, this is an excellent question, which I knew I was going to be asked. But you know what? I've actually never faced criticism for it. For some reason, I've never. In face-to-face conversations, yes, some people have been a bit salty in their comment and asked me, like, why do you speak like this? Why do you speak like this? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they knew they were coming across as rude or not, but English is not their first language. I'm not gonna judge them, and they're my students, so I always have to like take the high road, be nice to them. But then I have my explanations. You know what I'm saying? I give them the same story, the childhood story. Yeah. I started speaking English with the native speakers, so I have not learned this. I've acquired it. It's happened over time. And I'd say, like, at this point, I'm more accustomed to speaking in the American accent. Though, Gayatri, I want to just like clear it out right here. My accent's definitely not 100% American. I don't think anyone's accent is 100% Indian or 100% French or anything like that. It is a combination. It is definitely a mixture. And if you want me to name all the accents that I speak in, like the combinations, definitely the American accent that goes on top, the Indian accent, a bit of British, because I watch a lot of British shows, and also Australian. You can have a hard time finding, like, picking apart all the accents that I mix up together if if you're not into it, if you do not know a lot. But somebody who's an American can easily tell that I'm not speaking in a 100% American accent. And I'm very comfortable with it. And I think that is what makes me unique. If you speak in an American accent, a pure, beautiful one, among Americans, you're not unique. I speak like this in India, I am unique, but I want to be unique everywhere I go. So I'm gonna make a mixture. You know what I'm saying?
Great person, that you are so lucky, to be honest. Like, I remember the town I come from is really conservative in
Mm,
thoughts. I would say one incident what happened to me once. I was standing at a chemist shop, and like, again, as I have been in the profession for 3.5 years, so someone called me, and I was at the shop, and I had to pick the call because he was one of my students. I was talking to him in English, and the chemist people, like that particular medical store, and the people around that, they looked at me like, oh, I was committing a crime. And I was like, what happened to all of you? I was like, what is happening around me? So that happened to me
yeah.
once. And then when obviously I was on a path, I wanted to learn the language, not for professional purpose. When I was learning the language, coming from Hindi medium background, I wanted to make it. That's it. I didn't know that I would make
Hmm.
a career out of it, never. But then I was crazy. I had to cut down the time which I used to spend with my friends, with the people who were irrelevant for the process. I don't demean them, but then I had to choose my way. Right? And there was a time when I
I get
faced
it.
criticism, right? That they were like, oh, the girl is full of attitude and she is no more the same and whatnot. And now when I get
Hmm.
attention in my own town, that is a reply to that criticism. Like this is what I'm doing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. Do you
great.
know where I come from, though? You don't know it, right? You can take a guess.
I mean, I guessed you would be from Delhi or kind of city, or that's what I guessed at first. Yeah. But I think we never
No, I'm
happened to
from
talk
Ranchi.
together. Hush. Like Jharkhand.
Yeah, that's a great city. Take a
Yeah,
visit.
yeah, I know that.
I come from, I wouldn't say it's, of course, it's not a metropolis. It is becoming into a city. Buildings are coming up and stuff like that's happening. I love where I was born, and I've never been out of my city. Not like I haven't traveled out, but I've completed my school and college in Ranchi.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I appreciate that expression.
I mean, that is crazy. That's what it does. It can surprise a lot of people because when
Yeah.
I say that I am from UP, the best part of UP,
Mhm.
they do get at times confused and they ask me that you must be from convent school or must be from English medium background or you must be in the surroundings since your childhood. But when I say that I spoke the first sentence of the English language in 2020, and they don't believe
Oh,
it.
geez.
Yeah. Before that, I never spoke. I had never spoken the language in my whole
Hmm.
life because every time I was in Hindi medium, I mean, there were different phases of my life. So initially, I was in like Saraswati Shishu Mandir, Vidya Mandir school types of like, like, there are a lot of mantras and all. Then for 3 years, I was in government, pure government school just because of some different reasons. Then I switched to again a school where I had to pay something, but that was not English medium. Then my
Hmm.
college was government college, so that has been my thing.
Hmm.
But that brings me to my next
Hmm.
question, Richard, at how do you deal attention? But a lot of time people, like
Hmm.
they change the way they behave when they get attention, right?
Hmm.
I sometimes get attention, and that somehow doesn't make me feel much proud because I feel there is a long way to go. Still, there is a
For
long way to
sure.
go. But what do you?
Yeah, you can be a bit proud and things bad, but I'll tell you something about my life. When we were having our first conversation, I said I don't have much to talk about my personal life. Like I said, I'm from Ranchi, not somebody who was into clubbing, got conservative parents. My parents are pretty cool. They're darling parents, but of course they're not gonna let me out at night. You know what I'm saying? But that's there. So what I want to tell you here is when I graduated high school, that was basically like the end of my social life. I knew that my school friends and I wouldn't have much time to hang out as much as we did during school. That happened exactly, surely enough. We don't hang out much. And we're all busy with our stuff. I can't be the one complaining because I'm doing the same. But then, if you think I get a lot of attention, I don't speak like this when I talk to my parents. I don't speak like this when I go out to the bazaar. I speak in Hindi night and day with my parents, even with my friends. I speak like this only when I'm teaching or when I'm reading. Even when I'm reading, I try to read with an accent. So now a lot of people, I don't think even my neighbors know that I've got the American accent. You know what I'm saying? I'm like a cover teacher.
Great. I mean, same happens to me. That's what I can say. So, the day I hosted that French girl, that was the day I got
Mm,
a little attention from few people in my local town. They got to
hmm.
know, oh, the girl is doing something out because how can she even handle a French girl? And then she has been roaming around with her.
Hmm.
She has been making her visit all the temples, all the beautiful architects, and then
Hmm.
even explaining her in the language she can communicate. So the place I live there happens Ganga Aarti. Okay, and then I took her there, and
Hmm.
those Ganga Aarti committee they covered, and next day it was the article of newspaper. It happened recently. So all three
Oh,
newspapers,
geez.
Dainik Jagran, Hindustan, Amar
Yeah.
Ujala, that was the article of that. So that happened. So same story of mine. Even my neighbors don't know that I am a teacher. I
And
mean,
I'm
I am a
cool with
trainer.
it. Yeah, it's cool, right? Cool with it. I got my own space. I don't really want to sing about it. If they know and they can appreciate it, fine, always welcome. But I don't like to sing about it.
So that's really good because it saves a lot of energy of yours. Otherwise, a lot of neighbors they would bring their kids to you and they're like, "Can you just teach her? Or can you just guide her?" That is something which is really crazy and
Yeah,
it
I
just
teach
like
some kid.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
really great.
right.
Amazing. So far in 3.5 years, 3 years of your teaching journey,
Hmm.
what have you learned
Hmm.
the most?
One of the things that I've learned as a teacher, and this is so crazy. As a new teacher, I made a few rookie mistakes, only a few, I'd say. I've always been good at it. Like I've got a knack for teaching people, explaining stuff and being friendly at the same time. Like I can have a lot of balls in the air. But one of the mistakes I used to make as a new teacher was not teaching my students how to ask questions back. You know what I'm saying? I always put them on spot. And at one point, they got into a very comfortable space of mind where they just come in and they knew they will be spoon fed. And I did it. I did it for months on end before I realized that I have to bring the practice exercise. I have to bring the topic conversation. I give them the corrections. I do everything that's on the table. This is not right. I'm making them dependent. And after some time, I shifted the gears and I asked them to bring some questions that they want to discuss, something that's going through their mind, some experience that they want to share. And also, I taught them the art of asking questions. You need to become a good conversationalist. It is not just enough to have good responses. You also have to have good questions. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that I've learned over the years. I've definitely learned a lot of things about myself, about my speaking. And like you said, when you meet new students, you feel challenged in new kinds of ways. And always you gotta take it positively and work on yourself. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of business English students. By that, I mean professionals who want to work on their business communication. And for that, I have to read all kinds of books. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I can keep up with them.
Great, great. Yeah, obviously, I mean, when you deal with professionals, politicians or business people or MBAs, CAs, lawyers, and whatnot. You can keep counting doctors and whatnot. You have to keep up with the knowledge they have, not the technical knowledge, but at least something that you can hold conversation with and you can make them confident to represent
Absolutely.
them and as an individual. Great. And even I also learned over the period of time that I don't have to spoon feed the students. Obviously, even I used to do the same stuff, but later I realized that no, I have to put them on pedestal and then ask me something and just have interactions, not always the lecturizing people. Great. Everyone,
Absolutely.
Richa, yeah, Richa has a channel and she would talk more about her channel right now. So just stay tuned and listen to her, do subscribe her channel, and let's listen what does she have more. So, Richa, what about your channel? You have a YouTube channel, and I know that you have a lot of
Sure,
fans
sure.
to go for. So, what about that?
So these are my parting words. My only parting words is that I've got a channel called Rich English. I'm working to make my communications channel the best there is. I'm going to need your support for that. I want you to watch my videos and I guarantee you'll benefit from that. That's it.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. You must watch her videos because I am the one who ran through her content, and I was quite surprised with that. That why this girl is not getting the kind of support or
Why
the
isn't she crushing
attention
it?
she,
Yeah,
yeah, she must get, and that's how
appreciate
I
it.
definitely decided to bring her here. And I really want to see her on big channels, and I even recommended her to go on big channels. And Richa, I must say that you must be ready to get invitations for more interviews, and I wish you really all the
Okay.
best for that. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so much.
being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you
Great
so
time.
much. Thank you so much.